I am Tony Torch with Keller Williams, Atlanta Perimeter, and I am an Atlanta based realtor working hard to help other agents get better at what they do. Today, I sat down with Daniela Pereyra. Daniela Pereyra. I hope I didn't butcher your last name, Daniela. Um, Out of Charlotte, North Carolina. She is a fantastic agent, really kind of working hard to achieve her dreams and her goals. Her big why is a big part of that. So I sat down with her today, had a little conversation. Let's get into it. Now, real quick, how do I don't want to mess it up. How do I pronounce your last name?
Pereira. Say
Pereira. Huh? Huh?
Ray,
Ray? Ra.
Ra.
Ray Ra. Thank you for breaking that down for me, right? Because I was like, I'm going to butcher this. We've been talking to each other, but I've never been like, hey, can I speak with Daniel Pereira?
Yeah, you
Pereira.
never said my name before, my full
I
name.
said your yeah, right. I said your first name, right? Talking to you on the phone.
Yeah,
All right, and out of now, let's talk about the areas that you cover, right?
yeah,
So Charlotte,
yes. So I'm
right?
licensed in Delaware and in North Carolina. And
Mhm,
in Delaware, I used to live there, so that's why I'm still licensed there. I started my real estate business there, and that was in central Delaware, so
mhm.
near Dover Air Force Base. That's why I have a lot of military clientele due to living in a nearby military community. So then I moved back to what I consider my hometown, Charlotte, North Carolina, and I got
Mhm.
licensed in North Carolina, of course, and I focus in the greater Charlotte area.
Charlotte. So have you done? Do you? I mean, I know you, right, you had the referral from Delaware, but do you do deals in Delaware still?
I do actually, which is kind of funny the way it works. So I have a team of colleagues. We're not like an official team, but we've teamed
Mhm.
up to continue doing my transactions for my clientele because I continue to receive word of mouth referrals from past clients in Delaware. So what I do directly is new construction buyers. I don't have to be there in person most of the time.
Mhm.
And so I can take on the transaction on my own and be of guidance remotely. And then when it comes to resale buyers, I don't feel comfortable doing resale buyer transactions on my own anymore. I did for a bit once I had first moved out, but things change, and I don't feel comfortable being that guidance for resale transactions. I feel like somebody really needs to see the area, the house in person, and all of that. So I just
Mhm.
refer resale buyers out. I also refer listing sellers out to my colleagues.
Okay, and this kind of a number of the things you're talking about here, the referrals, is that we're going to get into this, dive a little deeper. Let's start, like, I guess, because I also want to talk about how your word of mouth business you mentioned. You don't really do much lead gen, and it's word of mouth. And I just want to say I hate you. I'm so jealous. No, like, I have to lead gen like crazy. Like, it's what I do. I make thousands of phone calls, and you're like, yeah, just word of mouth, and I got good business. I'm like, I want that. I need that. A little bit of that.
Well,
Now I get
thank
that.
you.
I'm very jealous of that, right? But the longer I'm doing this, I got a come list me call yesterday for 1.5 million, so I can't complain too much.
Yes.
So let's talk about how you got started in real estate.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, what a story. So I actually got started in real estate for all the wrong reasons. I sound like a broken record when I tell this story because I say it all the time. I really loved being a tour guide in college. So I'm taking you way back, right?
Hmm.
And when I graduated college, I moved around different parts of the country. I worked in primarily the TV and film industry for a while, and then marketing, agency style marketing. And so I started to really understand that I love client relationships and I
Hmm.
love relationships in general. I would always think back to the time when I was a tour guide in college, and I really loved giving tours. I loved like presenting the idea of something that I enjoyed, that I loved, and trying to help you visualize what it would be like to take this journey with me. And I would think back to the fact that I would just enjoy being a tour guide forever. And obviously, that doesn't pay the bills, and I'm not a student anymore. Met my ex partner in Charleston, and he had rental properties in his hometown. And
Hmm.
so he would tell me about his interactions with his real estate agents. This is where the story starts to make sense. And then I started hearing him talk about tours, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like
I'm
all I
in.
wanted.
I could give tours of houses.
Yeah, I was like, I used to tour an entire college campus and it was amazing. And,
Mhm.
all the conversations that come from that and the people that you meet. And that was exciting to me. So I'm thinking, okay, so basically real estate agents are tour guides. Got it.
A couple other
Obviously
things, a couple
not.
other
No,
job descriptions in there, but yeah, we'll go with that. Yeah.
obviously that's not all of it, right? But in my head, that's what it was. And
Mhm.
so that's what I started to hear. And I wanted to do it. In Delaware is where I started taking classes for real estate and then affiliated and so on and so forth. Um, I was in Delaware with him for about 2 years, and
Mhm.
then the relationship ended, and I moved back to what I consider my hometown, Charlotte, and continued it here. So it was all because of tour guiding. But after a lot of exploring, I realized, okay, KW really has all the things that I've been seeking, and that's how I ended up at Keller Williams.
Gotcha. So now let's talk about your superpower, right? Because I tell people my superpower is I can lead gen like crazy. I don't have these word of mouth referrals like some people. Not referencing anybody in particular. So what is? Let's talk about your superpower. Why are you successful?
Okay, so if I were to think of myself as a third person and talk about Daniela, um, I think what
This
people
is a
know.
safe place to talk about yourself in third person. Like it's okay.
Okay. I think what people mostly tell me is what I have decided is my reality about like why I'm quote unquote successful, right? Because success is relative. So I
Mhm.
hear often that I am very relatable and that I'm very engaged and invested. And
Mhm.
again, that goes back to the fact that I enjoy relationships. That doesn't mean that I enjoy every single relationship I've ever had. I am extremely selective. I truly
Mhm.
am. And I think that that comes as a superpower at times. So I'm
Mhm.
selective with how I engage with people, who I engage with, and what they see of me. I'm also considerate of the fact that no matter what is going on in my life, you signed up for something from me, and you're going to receive that something, whatever that thing is. So if I first met you with positivity and excitement to do this journey with you, whether you're buying or selling a home or simply wanting to learn about real estate, that's what you're going to see from me every time we meet.
Mhm.
There's consistency. So there's consistency in my relationships, there's consistency in the way I show up, and you can count on me to be your it girl. And so
Mhm.
I hear this from my clients. It's like, I just knew that you would have it handled.
Mhm.
I figured I would just call you first because I knew you'd have my back. And
Yeah.
so I hear that from my clients, I hear it from my colleagues, I hear it from my family members and my friends. And really throughout my life, like I've just been that consistent person that shows up. Um, and now with that being said, that can be great for others. At times, it can be really difficult for me
Mhm.
because I have that same expectation that I assume others have of me to show up for them strongly.
Mhm.
I have the same expectation for myself, but what about the days where I don't feel well? What about the times where I second guess myself? I doubt my abilities, or I doubt my impact. I doubt my desire to do something or make an effort towards something new. So I'm human too. I'm not a
Yeah.
robot.
Exactly. Like we're like, and check on your strong friends. We just talked about this in bold. Like even when you're strong, people can think, oh, they're always good, right? But we can have imposter syndrome too, even when we're successful. It's natural. It's normal for everybody. And how do you know, show up to play on the days you're not feeling so strong?
Yeah, I honestly don't fully understand it yet. My best friends, especially my best friend in the world, Imani, she often tells me like, I just don't know how you do it. Like no matter what happens in your day to day, you're not defeated by anything. And that doesn't mean that I don't have bad moments where I might cry or I might speak poorly to myself, or I may
Hmm.
get frustrated and I may take it out on someone that doesn't deserve it or something that doesn't deserve it, such as my pillow. But I yes, I have those moments, but I think my mindset allows me to just, have it and
Hmm.
a few minutes and then bloop, next, on to the next thing, on to the next thing. So I I very much see my day to day as like phases. So today I am in this phase. Today I may feel frustrated. Today I may feel overwhelmed, but overall I am happy. I am content. I am healthy. I am able. So I can
Hmm.
feel something while being something else because the feelings are temporary. The being is permanent. And so I think all of that translates in the relationships that I have with my clients because as I mentioned earlier, we're not just tour guides. We are problem solvers and we are resources
Yep.
as real estate agents for some of the biggest journeys in people's lives. These things can impact their families, their jobs, their self esteem, their environment, their safety. Um, it can impact the next generation to come for their families. I mean, people build with real estate. They,
Yep.
they build all kinds of stuff, not just physical things, but emotional, mental, all kinds of experiences. So I just gave you a super long-winded description of what I think makes me successful, but to make it short, I think I'm successful because I show up consistently
That's
for my
right there.
clients.
Like you touched on it earlier, right? And I wanted to piggyback on that. Yeah, consistency, showing up consistently is honestly, it's one of the biggest things that's going to make you successful in this business. And I wanted to talk about your big why. I was trying to find a good way to segue into that. Let's just get into that, right? Like, because big why is what drives us in such a hard industry, right? Let's talk about your big why. What keeps you moving? What excites you?
So my big why is stemmed from the fact that I have incredible parents who have truly shaped my everything and have made me a happy gal. And over time, I've just learned that I want to be a mom too.
Hmm.
And in whatever format that comes for me, with or without a partner, I want to experience motherhood. And I think that that is the biggest legacy that I can leave behind is someone else, just
Hmm.
someone else to take on whatever it is that I've acquired, that could make their life easier, or the lessons that I've learned that I can help shape a person to be a happy person as well, and to have some of the similar mentalities as me, to take on the things that I consider good parts of me, and the things that and to avoid the things that I consider bad of me. So anyway, I want to be a mom, and that is my biggest why. And I understand that the best resource that you can provide a child is time. I don't want to be the type of parent that, and you can probably cut this a lot, but I don't want to be the type
Yeah,
of
no, it's good.
parent where my child goes to school and I'm at work, and then my child comes home from school and I'm still at work.
At work. Yep. I get that. Yeah, because it's tough, right? You want that time. Like you said, we have a finite amount of time when our children are young, and nothing has made me more in tune with the fact of how quickly time is passing is my daughter going through school, right? She's in fifth grade now, and it's just wild. I love being a dad. I love seeing her grow up and develop personality. And I'm like, let's slow it down. And we can't. So we give up our time to go to work, makes it tough. And that's one of the things you talked about because you talked about the way to get that time was through passive income.
Yes. So naturally, if you are earning what you need to live comfortably without having to actively work for it at all times, then you have more control of your time. So with that being said, I have some avenues today, thankfully, that do offer me some passive income. And so I want to continue to raise that. And that way I can have that balance. I can have that work
Hmm.
life balance of, okay, I am not a workaholic type of parent that is not spending nearly enough time with their child or having those core memories with their child. And our needs are still met, and whatever
Hmm.
those needs are at the time.
What are some of the things you've done to put in place the passive income?
So nationwide referrals is a big thing for
Hmm.
me. I have lots of military clientele from my time in Delaware near the Air Force Base. And so my military clientele to this day continues to move all over the country. And so when they move, I do referrals. A good portion of my income comes from referrals every year. And I take that very seriously. And then, other than that, some different investment avenues that I thankfully have my financial advisor helping me
Hmm.
with. And then also rental properties.
Yeah, you do take it seriously. I will be paying you a referral fee next year, coming up here. Hopefully, February, March is looking like the time frame. We're going to make that happen. So, hey, thank you. I am grateful for that referral.
Thank you.
And
Thanks for
that
taking
is a
care
great
of
way.
them.
Yeah, right. And that's a great way to if you can focus on outside of your bubble and just doing business inside of Charlotte or for me, Atlanta, and say, wow, I'd rather get 25% of 100 deals that other people are working than have to do all the work for all my deals, right? It's such there's so much less work involved in sending out a good referral than getting somebody through the whole process of buying or selling a home. And let's get into best tips. I want to know if you have any for home buyers, home sellers right now. Maybe we're going to get into the ones you talked about, but do you have a fun one? Like one of my fun ones, I always like to say at the closing table, I say to the people who are buying the home, I say, all right, as a listener, the first thing you want to do today, if you're moving in today, is you want to make your bed. Is first thing, right? Because you don't want to get to unpacking all day long and be 1 o'clock in the morning and you don't have a bed made. You just want to be able to get cleaned up and crash when you want to crash. And people love that tip. They're like, that's amazing. Like other agents are like, I'm going to start using that tip, right? Like it's kind of a good fun tip. Do you have anything like that you like to use at the closing table or anytime during in the process? I just kind of
Yes.
threw that one at you.
No, two things. So, after I bought my first house, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to write down all these notes for myself because I was planning on buying another one a year later, which I did, and
Awesome.
moving into it so that I could rent out the first. And I thought to myself, this first experience was awful. I need to write down all these notes of what not to do or what to do. So, two things that I wrote down for myself was order a pizza in advance on the day of
There
moving so that you don't forget to eat and that restaurants don't close on you and then the pizza can be delivered.
we go.
And also bring toilet paper and
Yeah,
hand
that's
wipes.
another good one.
Yes,
That's a good one. That's a really
because
good one.
people pack up all their stuff, right? And
I've
they
heard,
don't
yeah.
realize, oh my gosh, I packed all the toilet paper. So, and you're in the middle of moving, and then who runs to the store to get toilet paper? You're going to need to use the bathroom. So, pack
Mhm.
toilet paper, hand wipes, soap, and any cleaning supplies that you may want for your first use of a bathroom, since you're moving into a house that may have been lived in before.
Mhm. And that might actually be like both of those items could be great closing gift items, right? Like, hey, I'm gonna, sending you
Yes.
pizza the day of, right? And you got, hey, here's your little move and go back. Because sometimes people forget about these things. And when they look into it, they're like, I see where you're going here, right? So, yeah, a little, that's my big aha.
Yeah,
Give, give,
moving day bag, same
yeah.
as when you pack a bag for having a baby at the hospital, like your
Yeah,
hospital
exactly
bag.
right. Here, yeah, it's like, oh, go, we got everything we need. Got the hand towels, got the lotion, the wash, the soap, the toilet paper. Really, the most important is toilet paper and soap. Beyond that, how about strategies, tips, and strategies? Do you have anything like that for home buyers, home sellers right now in this market?
Yeah, I do. I just think sticking with it because here's the thing, the people that are searching for homes at the end of the year in the middle of the holidays, there are people who likely can't wait until a more convenient time. And there's a reason for that. They might have something time sensitive in their lives that is causing them to look for a home. So for home sellers,
Hmm.
stick with it. It's natural that this is going to be an uncomfortable time of the year. There are a lot of distractions. And
Hmm.
then I would say same for home buyers. If there's a seller that is on the market in this quote unquote inconvenient time for the reasons that I just mentioned, it's likely because they can't afford to not be in the market right now. So stick with
Or there's
it.
a reason there's a reason they're making a change right now. Not, or maybe not
Right.
necessarily be afford it. It could be, hey, jobs moving them. That's it's just a time in their life they felt it was time to make it. But yeah, um,
Exactly. So it shows you level of motivation, right? Because
mhm,
naturally, anybody who is in the market to buy or sell at any time in the year, they're obviously motivated by something. It's just a matter of, is that motivation rooted in desire or is it rooted in necessity? And I think
mhm,
when you have a buy or a sell at the very end of the year, like the last quarter, especially November and December, it's more often than not rooted in necessity versus desire. So I
mhm.
think that it gives leverage to the other party, like a buyer over a seller, or seller over a buyer.
Awesome. Yeah, awesome. Well, very good. All right. So here's the thing. I have went well beyond the 20 minutes I told I was going to take out of your day. Any final thoughts?
My thought is actually about you. I just want to tell you that I'm proud of you. It was such a pleasure meeting you at Mega Camp this year, and I'm just so proud of everything that you're doing. I keep up with the things that you send out, and I just think that you're a phenomenal person, phenomenal agent, and I'm proud to have you in my circle. So thank you for having me on this.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you. And it's funny, yeah, the first time we met face to face, I was getting kicked out of Mega Camp. And I wasn't being kicked out. I was told I wasn't allowed to pass out my flyers. That being said, yeah, no, it's been absolutely great meeting you. And obviously, I'm sure we're going to be doing business together for many, many years to come.
Yes.
And awesome. Well, I appreciate you. I appreciate your time today. And hey, stay after it.
Yes, I appreciate you, Tony. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
So, I think one of my biggest takeaways from this is, well, first of all, Daniela mentioned success is relative. It absolutely is. What is success to you? What does that word mean to you? And I think we all have to answer that question ourselves. But the other part of it was, hey, she enjoys relationships. And that is such a big aha, big takeaway from this is that there's so much relationship when it comes to buying and selling homes, right? It is a business transaction for some people, but some at the same time, it's people's home, right? It's where they've made memories. It's where they grew up. And you can't forget about that. And if you focus on the relationships, that is going to be, and you're genuine about it, right? You absolutely have to be genuine about focusing on the relationships. Because if you're not genuine, then people will see through that. And if you remember that this is people's biggest financial transaction of their lives, it means a lot when you realize that and you can help guide them through it. So Daniela, I appreciate your time today. Um, if I can help anybody here in Atlanta, Georgia, I do pay 35% referral fees for all of my referral partners, and I believe in delivering Disney level service, creating raving fans, all the fun things, all the good stuffs. I create clients for life. Your clients will thank me, will thank you for sending them to me, and I will help them as long as I can, as long as they let me. That being said, Tony Twitch, Keller Williams at Atlanta Perimeter.